As we discussed earlier this hour, Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, describes a scene on Air Force One when Donald Trump was telling White House staff how to lie to the New York Times about Donald Trump Jr.'s meeting with Russians in Trump Tower during the campaign, which provoked one member of the Trump legal team to quit because he thought this meeting could be obstruction of justice. Another passage in Michael Wolff's book describes a violation of New York state law. Sexual harassment law. Shortly after, Corey Lewandowski, with whom Hope Hicks had an on and off romantic relationship, was fired in June 2016 for clashing with Trump family members. Hicks sat in Trump Tower with Trump and his sons, worrying about Lewandowski's treatment in the press and wondering aloud how she might help him. Trump, who otherwise seemed to treat Hicks in a protective and even paternal way, looked up and said, "Why? You've already done enough for him. You're the best piece he'll ever have," sending Hicks running from the room. That is textbook sexual harassment, according to New York state law. Joining us now, Zerlina Maxwell, the Director of Progressive Programming for Sirius XM Radio. She was formerly with the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign as Director of Progressive Media there. And Zerlina, this book is filled with details that no one's getting to because so many of them are so explosive. But just something like that, you're turning the pages of this book and you watch now President Trump, as candidate Trump, break the law on sexual harassment with his own staff.
And certainly I think we're seeing it in a new light now, because we're having a national reckoning right now around the issue of sexual harassment. And so we're understanding this in a more comprehensive way. So a superior cannot comment on a subordinate's appearance or sexualize them in this particular way. It is a violation of state law. But that goes to how Donald Trump sees women. He values women based on their appearance, particularly when women don't challenge him in a political sense. So, for example, with Mika Brzezinski, she criticized him. Immediately, he attacks her appearance. Megyn Kelly immediately attacks her appearance when challenged at a debate. And so that's his MO, and he always devalues women by commenting on how they look.
Another passage in Michael Wolff's book describes the Ivanka-Jared pact, and this is on which one of them gets to be president first. Jared and Ivanka had made an earnest deal between themselves. If sometime in the future the time came, she'd be the one to run for president, or the first one of them to take the shot. The first woman president Ivanka entertained would not be Hillary Clinton. It would be Ivanka Trump.
That's hilarious, mainly because Ivanka has no qualifications or experience. Now, she's in the White House now, and based on no qualifications and experience to be there, doing
her
we don't know
has
what.
No qualifications or experience.
Exactly. So perhaps her delusions are based on the delusions of her father, who was able to eke out an electoral college win without any experience. But I don't think that Ivanka Trump will have the same experience, and here's why. She's a woman. And so the sexism that Hillary Clinton had to deal with when she was trying to run to be the highest person in the highest position in the country, she's going to face that same sexism. Because when you challenge men and their position in authority, that's when you face sexism. It's not when you play the game of the Donald Trumps of the world. Ivanka has not faced that yet, and she will if she tries to go for the top job.
The president is quoted in the book as calling his wife a trophy wife, including referring to her as a trophy wife to her face with her in the room. This kind of thing permeates the book, so the treatment that Hope Hicks got is not that different from the treatment that Mrs. Trump gets.
No, and that's Donald Trump. It's Trump being Trump. It's not surprising to anyone who has been paying attention, particularly someone like me who's a feminist and cares very much about the equality of women and the fact that they should be able to be valued for their smarts and their ability on the job. With Donald Trump, it's not that way. He owned a beauty pageant, and those women were objectified and sexualized in a very particular way. He was walking in on underage beauty contestants, and he valued women on how they looked and literally scored them, and they wore a crown based on how pretty they were. So that's the world that Donald Trump comes from, and that's just going to be consistent even though he's the president, he's not going to change. And it's very unfortunate because women are more than half of the country, and we should be valued because of the contributions that we bring to society and in the workplace, and not based solely on our physical appearance. It's not 1950 anymore.
Well, it may be in Trump world. Zerlina Maxwell, thank you
you
very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.